Aloha everybody, this is Dr. BethAnne and this is May's issue of Intuitive You. I chose the theme Navigating Through the Unknown for this month's issue because as a world right now, we are all navigating through unknown times. We are all navigating into something that we've never faced before as a global community, and that has affected all of us in bigger picture ways, kind of like the big questions of what will the scope of the virus be? Will there be a second wave? When do we reopen and stop quarantining? How's the economy going to be? You know, there's all these big picture questions going on right now, and then we've all been affected individually in our own various unique ways. So every single one of us is on a journey right now that we don't really have a map for, and things are coming up that we've never experienced before, and we're being asked to adapt, and we're being asked to evolve through them, and evolve with them. So I wanted to shine some perspective in this video on navigating through the unknown and a few ideas and tools that I find helpful in moving through times in life where you just don't know, right? Because that's what this is. You don't know what you don't know. And as much as we might pull up the news and try and follow what experts are saying, nobody has a predictive, like, final answer of here's how it's going to look. We are literally living through this profound change and experiencing it together. So here we are in the unknown. We are all these little caterpillars who are kind of in a cocoon, and we don't know what's going to be on the other side of that. We don't know what kind of butterfly we're going to be or how that's going to look. And I want you to imagine that we're going to say like 1960. I won't put you too far back in the past. It's in the 60s. And you are a traveler, like you've always wanted to travel. And you haven't really traveled before. This is the first time that you're going to do it. Maybe you've saved up a whole bunch of money and you're planning on, we'll say, backpacking through Europe, and you're going to go do this thing. And you get off the plane and we'll start you in Germany, okay? And you realize you don't speak the language. Maybe you don't have a map, maybe you do, maybe you have a beat up travel book that kind of says here's what you do. Maybe it's really out of date, so it's not even accurate anymore. And maybe you made a reservation at a hotel, maybe you didn't, maybe you're going to do that when you get there, and you have no idea where you are, you don't know how to get to where you're going, and you have to figure it out. And we know that people did. We know that throughout history, people have been explorers and adventurers, and they have stepped into unknown spaces, and they've had to find ways to be resilient and find ways to work through barriers of things that they didn't know and how they would usually orient themselves by. And that's where all of us are at right now. We have all been dropped off in a land that feels really strange. We don't speak the language in the sense that new emotional experiences, new life experiences are coming up that we've never encountered before. Nobody's been through a pandemic together, not like this. So we don't even have sometimes the language to put to what's going on. We don't always have the perspective, the cognitive structures for how to think about these times. We don't have a pre-existing template for how are we going to move through this. And if you think about the idea of being a traveler and you were really excited about this trip, now I know we might not be excited about this particular one, but we're here anyways. As a traveler, how would you navigate all these seeming obstacles in a way that still served you having a sense of adventure on your trip? You know, you went to backpack through Europe because you wanted to gain new experiences and you wanted to see new sights. You didn't go to be miserable and to feel lost and to feel confused. And some of that might be part of your experience. Maybe you write about that in your travel journal, and that becomes part of learning more about yourself. But the idea behind it would be that you're there to have a good time. And whether or not we think we signed up for what's going on right now, and whether or not we think this is a good time, we know as spiritual beings on a human journey that we are here to experience life. We are here to find joy. We are here to find abundance. We are here to find our purpose and to feel like we're fulfilling and serving that purpose. We are here to learn about love. So even though a lot of challenge comes with being a human, we're here for a good time. Ultimately, those are really good, joyful things. So how do we find perspectives right now that allow us to have a good time? I say that kind of tongue in cheek, and move through this with as much joy and ease as possible. And I wanted to share the idea that I think there's 3 things right now that we have the opportunity to experience on this trip that we're on that are unique to being on this kind of trip. And the first one is that we have the opportunity to experience ourselves in new ways. Like I said, things are coming up for all of us that we might not have a vocabulary for or understanding for. So this is a huge time of self-discovery. How are you reacting to this? How are you feeling? You are not your feelings. The truth of who you are is not your feelings. But we can learn from our feelings, and we can observe them, and we can observe, wow, I'm feeling really anxious about this, or I'm feeling really angry, or I'm feeling really optimistic today. And we can learn information from, well, where is that coming from? And we can begin to chart an even wider scope of understanding our emotional being and understanding who we are and understanding how we are each uniquely designed as a human being. You and your experience and the vessel of your body and the essence of who you are in this lifetime, this is like the universe's gift to you is being you. And so discovering that and learning about that right now, there's so much potential to learn something new about yourself. And sometimes we like the new things that we learn about ourselves, just like if you're on a vacation or adventure, some adventures turn out better than others, right? Like choose your own adventure books. As a kid, sometimes you choose right and you really love what happened, and sometimes you don't make the best choice and so you go choose another adventure. There's no right or wrong to this. Some things you're going to like that you're learning, some things you might not, but it's all just information for building our understanding and our library of who we are and who we're uniquely hardwired to be. So we have the opportunity to experience ourselves in new ways right now. We also have the opportunity to create new potential. From chaos and change and deconstruction always comes the potential for constructing something new. So a lot of people are being called to adapt their jobs right now. A lot of people are being called to adapt their kids' schooling. I bet there's parents watching this who never knew you could be a teacher. And whether or not you feel like you're doing a good job at it, you're still showing up every day and you're trying to help your child through this the best that you know how. You're trying to hold your family through this the best that you know how. You are learning the potential that is you. You're learning about your inner strength. You're learning how to do things differently. You're learning to adapt in ways that you might not have thought possible for yourself. We never think we're capable of something until we're thrust into the middle of it and we're forced to find out. You know, a mommy eagle doesn't like halfway help her babies fly. They stay safe in the nest, and then when she knows they're ready, they're just tossed from the nest and it's like, here you go, fly. A butterfly breaking free from the cocoon doesn't know what it's going to be. It just has to find its wings. So we're finding our wings right now. We're finding new potential within those wings. And then the last piece that I wanted to share right now is that we have the opportunity to trust our instincts and our intuition and our inner knowing in a way that is more powerful than what we had before. Going back to the map analogy, if you really were dropped off in Germany and you don't speak the language and you have to figure it out, you would have to rely on inner resources and inner skills. You would have to pay attention to, well, where's everybody else going? Okay, well, that must be the exit. You know, you would have to maybe notice patterns that you keep seeing the same word over and over again, and you figure out that that word means, you know, hello, or it means entrance, or it means, you know, bathroom or something like that. You would have to trust your own instincts if you were looking at a map and you thought, I don't know what direction this is. And part of you said, you know, well, it feels like it's this way. You would have to trust that because you couldn't rely on this concrete logical information. You don't have your phone to pull it up and check it out. You just have to trust. So right now we have this beautiful potential to really listen to our inner knowing, to allow our intuition to guide us, to come back into our hearts, and to come back into our deeper self, to really rely on our connection with the universe and whatever spiritual beliefs we have about life or energy. And we have the opportunity to trust in these things that we can't see, that are very, very real. We just can't see them. And to allow those to help lead us and help navigate us and help guide us through these times. So something simple that you can do every single day is you can just put your hand on your heart and you can ask your heart, what do I need to know for today? And just pay attention to the wisdom that shows up. And you will find that you are moving through these days and mapping out these days through inner wisdom that's coming up in you, through inner knowing that's coming up in you. And that is how we move through unknown times. We have to trust in the things that we cannot see and trust that the bigger picture will come together as it needs to be. So I try and keep these around 11 minutes. So I will wrap this up here and wish you happy travels. And wish you an adventure. And may we all be like the full archetype in the tarot card and put our little knapsack over our back and wander out the front door and see what we can learn about being human, being ourselves, about spirit, and about what can we create in a time of uncertainty and what beautiful things might come through from the potential of change that's going on right now. Have an amazing month, and I will see you here in June for the next Intuitive You.